Woodpeckers are the headbangers of the bird world. During courtship, they use their beaks to drum onto trees or poles to attract a mate or to establish territory, and to peck fiercely into trees removing wood in search of food. With each peck, woodpeckers move their heads some 6 meters per second, enduring a deceleration force as high as 1200 G. A human would be left concussed if they experience a sudden deceleration of between 50 and 100 G depending, and yet a woodpecker's brain sustains this high force every day, between about 700 and 12,000 times, 12,000 if it is during courtship. And in each second, they can peck as many as 20 times. Make no wonder so many people have asked the question, why don't woodpeckers get brain damage? The reason they can do so without causing some serious damage to their brain lays in how they've been shaped over the course of time through evolutionary process, modifying and refining many different shock-absorbing systems in their anatomy, such as thick and strong neck muscles which contract just before the bird strikes the wood with its bill, allowing some of the force of the blow to emanate downward through the neck to the body, thus protecting the skull from a full blow. Uneven upper and lower beaks, with the upper being longer but the bone in the lower stronger. This asymmetry lowers the load of force transmitted from the tip of the beak into the bone that makes it as far as the brain. Even the chiseled way in which their beaks are help, due to how it allows them to move their beaks into the wood more easily rather than stopping abruptly. A skull made of plate-like bones that have a sponge-like structure, which are found to occur more frequently at the back and front areas of the skull, help to scatter the incoming force, thus protecting the brain. But one shock absorber that I'm fond of, because of how clever it comes out to me, is the hyoid apparatus. Woodpeckers, as you probably already know, have very long tongues, some longer than others. And unlike with our tongues that are mostly muscle, their tongues, as is the case with other birds, is rigidly supported by a bone and cartilage skeleton called the hyoid apparatus. Our hyoid, or horns, are in the shape of a U and can be felt by pinching your thumb and index finger together in the upper part of your neck. Woodpeckers and other birds, however, have Y-shaped horns, and it extends all the way to the tip of their tongue. But with woodpecker tongues being long, it don't rest just beneath their skull. Rather, it continues wrapping around their entire skull, and with some species of woodpeckers, even around their eye sockets or into their nasal cavity. This large Y-shaped horns wrapping around the skull just beneath the skin acts like a safety harness for the skull and brain. So they get two important functions out of this apparatus: a place for their long tongue when it is not in use, and a safety harness for the brain. There's more yet though. Even the size of its brain helps. With it being much smaller, mass of only 2 grams, it can handle an impact that our large, massive 1400 gram brain could not. But that is only part of the story. Their brain is also tightly fitted into the skull, unlike with ours, prohibiting their brain from moving, which reduces any chance of concussion. And because their brains are so small, they have a higher surface area to weight ratio, so relatively speaking, in comparison with a human brain, a woodpecker's brain has a much larger surface area for the force of impact to scatter over, keeping the soft brain tissue unaffected. Other than adaptations in their anatomy, they've also learned a proper way in which to peck the wood. A Chinese research found that as woodpeckers peck, they turn their heads just slightly, and this influences how the force is transmitted. So this is some of the information I came across about why woodpeckers are able to do what they do without getting brain damage.